This is the annotation information for chapters 1 and 2 of To Kill a Mockingbird. One of the first things you want to think about with your annotations is to write, and on the first page of each chapter, a quick list of some things that happen within the chapter to help you remember what happened during this chapter. So we're going to read and look at chapter 1 a little bit, and that's going to include the background of the Finch family. This is the town of Macomb, Dill's first visit, and Boo Radley. So once you have that, as you read through each chapter and you put that quick list up there, you can easily reference back and see how that could help you in the future. One of the first things you need to know as you're reading To Kill a Mockingbird, especially these first couple pages, is that you're being introduced to our narrator. And the narrator for this book is a young girl named Scout. She is young when the events happen, but she's actually looking back on the events that happened and retelling the story. So that's what she explains to us here in these first 2-3 paragraphs, and we're going to look at these very closely. So the first line of a book is always really important, but in this book it's very important because it actually tells you where the entire story is going. So this is an important one to highlight. When he was nearly 13, my brother Jim got his arm badly broken at the elbow. This is actually the story that she's working to tell. She has a very long story to get there, but she will eventually tell you how her brother Jim got his arm badly broken at the elbow. And that's where it's going. So it's all going to come back around to this moment in the story. This book is one where you're going to run into a lot of different words that you may not have seen before. So if you do run into some words that you haven't seen and you're not sure about and you're having trouble figuring out what they mean in context clues, I would recommend maybe having your phone next to you or a computer next to you or just a dictionary, but that takes a little bit longer, and look up some words. So in the second sentence here, I ran into a word that kind of made me stumble. When it healed and Jem's fears of never being able to play football were assuaged, that word I wasn't sure about. So I looked it up and I found out that it means less severe, and that makes sense here. So once his arm was kind of healed and the pain went away and he felt better. So that's just one of the things that you should kind of keeping an eye out for in this book, because there's a lot of different words that are going to throw you off, and you don't want them to halt your reading just because you run into a word or two that you don't understand. So this continues to talk about his arm, and then the next sentence here is extremely important. When enough years had gone by to enable us to look back on them, we sometimes discuss the events leading to his accident. And this is how she's going to dive into telling you the story. She's going to tell you the events leading up to the accident and what happened. I maintain, she says, that the Yules started it all, but Jem, who was 4 years my senior, said it started long before that. He said it began the summer Dill came to us, and Dill first gave us the idea of making Boo Radley come out. So this is going to be important here too, and without us really knowing it, Scout, our narrator, who has not given us her name yet, has gone ahead and identified some key characters within the story for us. Maintain that the Yules started it all. That's actually a family, instead of referencing their last name there, so that'd be a good thing to mark. He said it began the day that Dill came to us. Now, Dill is one of the other characters that's going to play a big role. And then making Boo Radley come out. Boo is another big character here, actually going to learn about a little bit in this particular chapter. So, quickly here she is led into telling us what's going to happen and then giving us some quick clues about when. But she starts by backing up the story. So this I'm actually going to put here. This is where the story starts. It starts here with this idea. And she backs up even further. I said if we wanted to take a broad view of the thing, it really began with Andrew Jackson. So this is how the rest of the chapter will give you the background information relating back to kind of like where it all started, and it all started with, in her opinion, Andrew Jackson. So the rest of the chapter is going to give you a background of her family, the Finch family, and we're going to learn about Simon Finch, her great-great-grandfather, and the customary, as it says, it was customary for men in the family to remain on Simon's homestead, Finch Landing. Now their last